guys and gals? Never here from Drake Wayne Gaming, and some of you mail on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Beasts of the Thorns. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you are up, and let's go! God, she is so fucking cute. Okay. Here, it's a free treat. Just then, the waitress walked over and served each of us a cup of mint sorbet. Ooh, that looks good. You youngsters don't have to guess anymore. It hasn't happened for over half a century, but it used to happen once in a while. It wasn't an astronomical phenomenon. It was just an old guy on a rampage. Wow, those tantrums can be this spectacular? Professor Malachite, she's a famous bomb among the demons. And last night she showed up in her true form running around. It's just that she looks scary, and unless you're human, there's no danger. What is she, a goat demon? It's rare for young people these days to hear about her deeds. She was Baphomet, a great demon who achieved glorious victories in many battles 200 years ago, known as the Witch of the Black Goat. What the fuck? Malachite is Baphomet? That's significant. Humans referred to her as the Bloody Friday, but she was active even before my time. We exchanged glances, and even I, someone lacking knowledge about demons as a former human, could guess that a great demon wouldn't be just anyone. It's surprising to find out that the short-tempered old lady is such a formidable character. On the other hand, it also makes me wonder about Ostrom, who has always been disrespectful of Professor Malachite and seems oblivious to the consequences. Mystery solved, and a moment of silence for that thief. The person who was willing to risk offending Baphomet by stealing the star map was desperate. Ostrom is worried about this, and I have a bad feeling about it. And then let's stay alert and try not to act alone as much as possible. When we left the restaurant, the crowd had really picked up. At the checkout, Chris found that his quail-sized roasted chicken was priced like a quail, which lifted his spirits. Then we parted ways at the restaurant's entrance. Chris had his own classes to attend, while Amor and I were scheduled to meet with the professor regarding our grades. According to the address Ostrom sent me, Amor and I headed to the College of Engineering. Civil engineering is quite popular on the human side, but it's not highly valued in the outer territory. Our department is located in a remote corner of the College of Engineering, and the professor's office is quite small. Our instructing professor is a deer in a neat satin suit, and despite his general appearance, he is a Wendigo. Why does it have Wendigo twice? He's a Wendigo. The professor is a very easygoing man and would like us to refer to him by his first name, Diego. Diego the Wendigo. Diego used to be human. According to him, Wendigo was a ghostly type of death demon and could only obtain a body to move around in the real world by possessing a human being. Because he still has some human memories, his concepts are relatively open, and he is more enthusiastic about us outsiders. Second, Alright, that one's done. But he also admits that the civil engineering department is not high in demand outside the realm. The population of magical creatures is already small, but in the last 10 years, many of them have chosen to sneak in and live in human society, causing the population of the Outlands to drop drastically. No population means no demand for construction, so civil engineering vacancies have shrunk. Given our good grades at the Human University, we didn't have to worry too much about catching up on our coursework. Professors' advice to us centered around finding referrals. It's so frustrating. I'm starting to get tired of the social system that requires connections. As for Amor's application to the Department of Shamanic Medicine as a minor, the professor carefully checked Amor's various documents to make sure that the qualifications are correct. And as long as the documents from the Department of Shamanic Medicine are also taken care of, Amor can go straight to the class. But don't bother Professor Malachite for a couple of days, Diego reminded us suddenly. He did give us Lucas's number, though. It seems that Lucas is already considered a window into the Shamanic Medicine Department. Then the professor gave us a set of websites. Most of the classes can be done online, but we have to make up some of the assignments, especially in the Literature and Liberal Arts program. We have to reselect some of the more magical subjects. So my literature class became a magic literature class, and my philosophy became a philosophical alchemy class. All the books I need for the new program can be bought on campus, and there's a large bookstore near the business school on the east side of the campus that carries all kinds of books, even some that are banned. Demons are obsessed with banned books, even if it's just a recipe with no content. As long as it's labeled as a banned book, it'll sell like hotcakes. But the bookstores here are capable of pulling out all kinds of unbelievable real stuff. This piqued my curiosity, and I wrote down the address of the bookstore, so I'm going to check it out sometime. Diego was kind enough to show us how to apply for a book grant. He was so nice, 10 times more friendly than my human professor. And by the time we finally finished listening to the professor's advice and all the little reminders, we had occupied him for the whole morning without realizing it. Amora tugged on my shirt, signaling that it was time to go, so I said goodbye to the professor. The dear man smiled kindly and said goodbye, then went back to checking the students' reports. How about it? Isn't the outer territory nice? Amora asked me excitedly as we left the lab. You mean the professor? All of it. Amora's eyes looked away as if he were talking to himself. The people here are friendly, the standard of living is good, and there are endless celebrations and feasts. And more importantly, there's no need to hide. We can be our true selves. To me, you're just as real whether you're a fox or a human. Amora seems incredulous. Won't you resist? The fact that your friend is a demon. I'm a bit adjusting to your new appearance, but it's not about how much fur you have. I know you're Amora, and that's enough. Aren't you mad at me for lying to you for so long? Deception? I don't think it's cheating. Everyone has the right to a little privacy, although it is said that there is a feud between humans and demons. Oh, this mojito water is really good. They love me the taste of a mojito. But that was only 200 years ago. That is the history of our ancestors. This is not something that our generation has to worry about. Amor still looks a little overjoyed, but relieved. You're worrying for nothing. I've been wanting to tell you this whole thing about me being a demon. Excuse me, but I got a little scared and ended up putting it off until the end. That's where your lack of trust in me comes in. I was joking. Not at all. I believe in you with all my heart. Amor is a bit sad. I know you wouldn't hate me, but I fear your sympathy. If I were to be gently pitied by you, I wouldn't be able to maintain my beliefs, to continue believing that being a monster is something to be proud of. We wild foxes have been dispersed for thousands of years, and no matter what suffering and persecution we have endured, we've always been proud to be magical beings. I used to believe that, and I want to believe that. But wherever we go is not our permanent home, and that shakes my confidence a little. We are like exiles in search of paradise, wandering in the wilderness for a mirage we once saw. At the end of the day, it's confusing what you're holding on to. But we've come to the outer realms, a haven for demons, a paradise for demons. Amor seems a bit gloomy. I used to firmly believe that the outer realms were a paradise for demons, but now? He shook his head, as if to shake the bad thoughts from his head. I'm beginning to wonder about the decision. Was the outer realm worth betting on or not? All of it. I'm a little confused and can't understand what the fox is worried about. Hey, no matter what situation you end up in, you still have me. Just don't gamble too big, okay? Amor finally forced a smile. Anyway, I'm kind of hungry. Look at the phone. Maybe Chris is already on a dinner date. I grabbed my cell phone to check my text messages, and Chris had asked us to the student cafeteria. We recently explored the dining halls on campus. The magical creatures have a good sense of smell, so the food is particularly tasty, but it's just a bit more expensive. For the future, we need to get our tongues used to the more affordable student restaurants. Chris is meeting us in the student cafeteria. Amor nodded and led the way to the dining hall next to the K-9 dormitories. When we walked to the restaurant, Chris was already there waiting for us, but he wasn't the only one. There was a wolf standing behind him. It was Ostrom. Hello, my lovely schoolmates. I looked at him, a bit unenthusiastically. How this guy was haunting us. Ostrom put a friendly hand on Chris's shoulder, and the big dog had a troubled look on his face. Hello, senior. Why don't we have a picnic? He held up in his hand a rather large picnic basket that appeared to be heavily loaded with food. No, we have other plans now. Thanks for the invitation. Yet I watched Chris give even more troubled look, as if he couldn't say no. I'm going to show you the Forest of Thorns, our hunting grounds. If you want to know where the best hunting spots are, don't miss it. Damn it, I muttered angrily in my mind. I felt the more on Chris's thoughts coming through. You're hurting me by thinking that way. We stared incredulously at Ostrom. Did he just resonate with us? Good grief, there goes personal privacy. Ha! Your thoughts are too easy to guess. I thought you were resonating with us. Wouldn't it be nice if it really resonated? It means we're close. Mm-hmm. Okay. I just want to get more than 10 kilometers away from you now. While I was thinking this, Ostrom looked hurt and depressed with his ears and tail hanging down. Makes me feel guilty. Damn. Alright, we'll go on a picnic. All I saw was Ostrom with a big smile. Great, let's get going. Seeing Ostrom's bright smile without a shadow, Lucas's admonition from yesterday echoed in my head once again. His behavior is just a social negotiation technique, not his real emotional feelings. I feel a mixture of remorse and annoyance at my own good humor, but I can't take back what I've said. Well, it was nice to get a preview of the hunting grounds anyway, and it certainly helped to know Ostrom's private hunting spots. Ostrom wagged his tail pleasantly and led us towards the forest. Despite his seemingly jubilant demeanor, one can sense his exhaustion. Even for an immortal werewolf, fatigue still takes its toll on him. I should be grateful that even though he is tired, he is willing to take time out of his schedule to lead us into surveying the forest of Thorns. Considering his busy schedule and his noble status, he could have asked Darwin or Bjorn to lead us, but he did it himself. I have to admit, Ostrom's been pretty good to us. Are you done with your own business, Mr. Senior? This. He was ambivalent and fooled me with an oversized, sparkling smile. I don't think there are many girls who wouldn't be mesmerized by that overly bright smile, but what are you trying to do with that face to me? My adorable juniors are more important than work, aren't they? I think you're a little too busy, Senior. Normally the president should have more administrative and social work than clerical work, and you're even doing the accounting yourself. Lately it's the grand festival of the ferret species, which is the most important time of the year for them, similar to our own Twin Tree Festival. So all the ferret species have taken leave to celebrate, and since my accounting staff were all ferrets, I had to come by myself. You can hire an accountant, right? The fraternity has sufficient funds to hire a dozen accountants to handle our finances, but the student council budget is very limited. Although I hold the positions of both fraternity and president and student council president, I can't transfer the fraternity's resources to the student council. Otherwise, money would solve everything. You're running a student council, your student organization like a company. Amora was probably thinking the same thing, I was, and I had a look on his face that made him want to spit, so I hastened to elbow him in the side. Ah! Huh? What's wrong? Senior, what's the Twin Tree King Festival? I quickly interjected to divert his attention. Don't they have this festival on the other side? Valentine's Day is coming up. I elbowed him again and told him to keep his mouth shut. I didn't realize there was such a cultural difference. That's interesting. What's the deal with double Valentine's Day? It's a festival passed down from the Far East. There are two Valentine's Days, and in early spring it's Vine Flower Valentine's Day, when women give chocolates to the men they love as a confession. Then, in mid-spring, it was Carpet's Valentine's Day, and the boy would return to gift the girl of his choice to show that the confession had been accepted. What a great custom. Subtle but romantic. No, that's a disaster you definitely don't want to run into. Because our Hess can't receive chocolates. Double Valentine's Day is just a marketing gimmick for businessmen. It's high in calories, it's expensive, and it's poisonous to dogs. I'll give poison to someone on Valentine's Day. It's unbelievable. The three canine demons present smiled knowingly. Alright, y'all, I'm actually going to pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Before I go, I'm going to give a quick shout-out to our lovely bronze tier patrons. Thank y'all if I do for the channel. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you to our silver tier patron, Cade Submarine. Thank you for going a bit above and beyond. It's greatly appreciated. Thanks to our three gold tier patrons, Zeke, Toby, and Blue Alpha Wolf. Thank you for watching. I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!